2x2 formation. Red change, down we go, racing for the first time this Noah's Ark 2x2 formation. Red change, down we go, 2x2 formation. Red change, down we go, racing for the first time this season. 3 hours of GT action, it's go.
It's very tight as they come down. Group of cars coming in. This has all got trouble written all over it. There's a G3 car.
Drop downhill there, head towards the Aqua Minerale. Imola, of course. There's another one off through the gravel. As wide as possible as they drop downhill, put it down from the inside line. Yes, he did. Through he goes.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to what is the first round of Season 11 of AOR's GT3 Tier 1 on Assetto Corsa. I am RageF1, back by popular demand, and so is my co-commentator. I've heard during the time off he's been frolicking with sea beasts, far distant lands, somewhere out there just going for it and living his best life. Is that true, Jay? Is that true?
Well, they may well be mysteries forever lost to the pre-season. Some people may never know the answer to that.
Jamie Ellis, everybody! TwinBarrelJay, thank you very much. There's an entrance. Anyway, let's crack on into the beginning of this season. We've got some fun facts to go through already, because the main thing I wanted to discuss here today is we have about 3 or 4 possible contenders for the championship straight off the bat. Because these boys are absolute wizards, and we have, I think, a good 4 or so champions taking part in this season. Let's go straight to the action then. We're joining, at the moment, some of the practice rounds. I think we're on the back of George Boothby here. We'll quickly just change that over so we can see exactly what we're doing. Dara McCormack returns for this season. Hopefully he can have a good start. He's in a Porsche, Jamie. I don't seem to remember him being in a Porsche last time. Maybe he was. There's
a lot of car changes this year, which I'm sure we'll get to. But yeah, carry on.
There's a lot going on, isn't there? We have Malinowski, Mr. Tortellini himself, back for another season, which is absolutely brilliant to see him. Reigning champion Luke Whitehead will be joining us again as Dara McCormack finds the limit of that Porsche and parks it up in the centre of Pouhon. Let's see any other notable names. BMW Nils coming back. I think he's in a BMW. Thank you very much for sticking with it. We've got Grantis Caracas. We've got Black Gold Sword in a Ferrari. Oh my goodness. We've got the usuals as well. The likes of Jardier is taking place. I think we've got Darren King, the 2 YouTubers who join us almost every single season. So that is absolutely brilliant to see them back. I think we're about to go live for qualifying. Jamie, anyone here, you know your AC better than me when it comes to BOP car performance. What are we looking for around Spa?
Well, I did. And then they changed everything, which is what I think is going to make this season incredibly interesting and exciting, along with, as you say, the host of names that are returning that I didn't get the pleasure of seeing last season, like Boothby and Malinowski. Well, I haven't seen Malinowski in the server yet today, so I don't know if he's here for round 1. But yeah, I mean, we could see just from that practice session a lot of Hondas up the top, which for the European tracks, in terms of the bot, was something you rarely saw. But they're obviously very strong with the new bot around, whether it's just Spa or whether it's this bot in particular. I guess we're going to find out. But yeah, it's definite Honda and Ferrari love up the top of the table to begin with. But, you know, as we know, with ACC, that could change track to track, and these guys are so talented. They could probably make a Robin Reliant work around here.
Yeah, I do agree. I'm just still surprised we've got a black gold sort in a Ferrari. This is absolutely crazy news for me. We do have we missed out some names there, obviously, so I'm sorry. We've got the likes of Trevor Wenham, very, very good last season. Had a win, I think, actually. Seems to remember it being maybe Barcelona. Correct me if I'm wrong. We do have other names that I have missed too, which we will get to. I think we've got Amir Hassini, that I didn't mention, who's also normally right up there. And I'm sure we'll have some people here that are going to surprise us throughout the season. Just going through some names that I recognise. We've got Yonkers coming back, Valentin Barrier. We've got the Appleman, Joris Apple himself. We've got Angel Instroza. I think he was a winner, actually, wasn't he? Old Angel last season. Let's just go through what we've got here a little bit further. We've got Marek Schintz, Kieran Prendergast. Now he is, if anyone knows, an old battler. It's Kieran Prendergast. Marek Schintz is also back this season, which is fantastic. We're on board, actually, with Black Gold Sword. We want to see how he goes. BMW Niels, like I mentioned. Who else have we got here? Tinker van der Velde. He was in for a shout 1 year, I think 2 years ago. Connor Wright. Vasily Anarev also coming back. We've got completely new people as well, which we will go through at some point. Leon Byrne has joined us again, but we do have some new people, and we have some returners, which should be good to see. But we're on board, and we're going to do a lap with Black Gold Sword and see how he can wrangle a Ferrari. Because I'm surprised. I'm surprised to see him in this car, and I hope he goes well.
Yeah, well, we know he's super talented, and it's going to be interesting to see how he adapts to a new car. But I think this is what Bob always brings interesting things to ACC and GT racing in general, is you can't get too comfortable in one car. You've got to be able to compete in any car that might be competitive at that time. He's taken a very interesting number, by the way. We need to do a lawsuit against him.
I know. He's taken our racing number. Niels, I've missed you too. Thank you for joining us back. I've got some news from the pit wall. Talking of pit wall, we'll introduce that again in a minute. Heiko's telling us, unfortunately, the Tortellini man himself, Malinowski, cannot join us this evening. That's why we didn't see him on the list. Because he's not feeling very well. Also, BMW Niels has an issue on a downshift, so might see some problems from BMW Niels. That's why we can't see him running right this second, but we will keep everyone up to speed with that as we join. I think Black Gold Sword is in the third sector now, just jumped onto the third sector. So apparently Black Gold Sword had an epic Ferrari drive in Season 1 Endurance. A Kyalami from the back to the front, says Tim. Tim, welcome. Good to see you. That's one of the commentators for the Endurance, and I think he does some of the Tier 2 stuff. So welcome, Tim, Timosaurus, as you guys would know. Why to stream only at 7:20? It's because I'm a heathen, and I live out with the peasants. It should be changing soon. I'm getting the internets fixed within the next 3 months. So Season 12, I promise, will come to you in glorious 2K.
They're running a brand new fibre line by horseback.
Oh, yeah. It's coming via horse and carriage. We got some times in. George Boothby, 2 minute 15. Is that quick, Jay?
It was, if you're judging by practice. They were down to about 2:15 mids at the front. So he's almost matching that already as Statsenko goes to the top. Ooh. I don't remember seeing him last season. Is that a new driver to AOR or just a returning driver?
No, he is a complete new force of nature. I've never heard of with Mikhail Statsenko. So, yeah, welcome, Mikhail. He says hello to everyone by posting a 2:15.7. Let's get a bit of information on Mikhail Statsenko if we can. Let's see if we can find out.
He's quick.
We're just in. He's quick. Russian driver, I think, Mikhail Statsenko. I like the name. It flows off the tongue quite well. Let's see if I can find some information from him, but I don't think we have any. Season GT3, Season 10. Apparently he was here. Didn't start. No show. Could not start. DNF. And now he's with us. So GT, yeah, I'm not too sure. So obviously,
so could not start.
I don't know. I'm not too sure, to be honest. Could not start.
He morally disagreed with the race on grounds
exactly that.
That were nothing to do with racing.
Yeah.
Well, he's very quick at the moment. He's the first Honda to the front of that field, followed by the three Ferraris of Boothby, Hossolini and Merles at the moment then, and then it's in Stroza and Goldsort. So it's a Honda and Ferrari top 6 at the moment. The top of those not in one of those two cars is Dave McCormack in the Porsche at the moment, 6/10 off the lead. But long way to go in the qualifying session, and we expect those times to be a tumbling right to the flag.
Oh, they're going to be a tumbling. One that is tumbling those times right now, and interesting enough, it's in the car that has put in the fastest time right now. So we've got Jack Alexander. Don't know necessarily Jack. He's in literally the car team. I love that. Welcome, Jack. He is 5/10 up. Dara McCormack's also 5/10 up. Where's Dara? I think he's coming through the final corner. Dara McCormack is going to snatch maybe top 3 here. Dara, 4th position. Jack Alexander is about to come into the bus stop. He might also snatch that 4th place away from Dara McCormack. The Honda's mighty quick in a Strosa. Dethrones Dara McCormack there, pushes him down a position. Here comes Alexander across the line, goes second place. We've got a Honda 1-2. Oh my god, I just fanboyed a little too hard.
I think you might be doing that throughout this race, because I don't think that'll be the last Honda to jump towards the front of the pack. But yeah, great lap from Alexander there. Not quite close enough to dethrone Stratsenko, as you say. That's a really decent effort from McCormack though in that Porsche, showing that they have got some pace round here. Petrochenko's into the top 10 as well, as now Luke Whitehead in that Honda goes to the top of the times and beats Stratsenko by 1/100th of a second.
Is Luke Whitehead driving the season in a Honda? Sorry to interrupt you, Jay. My world just turned inside out.
Sorry, what was that?
Luke Whitehead is doing season 11 in a Honda. I just realised.
Obviously, it's a big bop change. Put it that way.
Chat are saying
boys have to adapt or get left behind, unfortunately.
I'm loving that Bop has now included Hondas. I'm a little bit. I've left. Literally, the last time I streamed AOR was when we finished season 10, and that's the last time I streamed GT3 on ACC. So I've missed all of these Bop amendments. I know we've had some updates. Amir Hassini doesn't improve there. Chat is saying that Jack Alexander is going to be a force to be reckoned with this season. So we'll keep an eye open for that. The highest other car that isn't made in the land of the rising sun is George Boothby. He is an ex-champion, not reigning anymore, unfortunately, because he was dethroned by Luke Whitehead, the current pole sitter. So good to see. I'm going to try and count how many past champions we get, and I'm sorry if I miss you. We've got Luke Whitehead, George Boothby. I'm pretty sure Black Goldstar might have one in there, but we won't count him. Malinowski, I'm pretty sure he's got a championship under his belt. If anyone else here, Grantis Caracas might have a tier 2 championship, you know. We might have 4 or 5 champions in this season, which is going to be electrifying towards the end.
Well, that's it, and I'm sure not just AOR, I'm sure across all of ACC we've got some royalty here, and some incredibly... it's going to be an incredibly close season, I would imagine, and it's going to be interesting to see who gets the advantage in the first one. Yeah, I mean, the Honda was always good around the Asia Pacific pack, or whatever it was called.
Yes.
The Intercontinental, there we go.
That's the one. Asia Pacific sounds fantastic all the same. I like it.
But it was always strong there, but obviously, I'm with you. I mean, I haven't been racing that much recently and not really seen where this Bop is going to... And this might be one of the first few championships to start since that big Bop change has taken place. So it's going to be interesting to see how it does filter out and whether it's at all tracks. But at the moment, yes, it looks like you want to be in a Honda.
So I think the Honda's got quite a bit of top end, and obviously it's doing quite well around the fast bits. Okay, that was a starting line from George Boothby. You can tell as he took a wide entry into the final corner to get maximum attack down the straight. So George Boothby binned that last lap, and he's going to go for another one. He's almost trading blows with Amir Hassini, who's in 6th place. So here we go. We got a fast one coming from George Boothby. Just having a look at the times. Statsenko is a 10th up at the moment, so he could possibly actually change the position at the front with Luke Whitehead. So we'll keep an eye on what he does. He's about coming through roughly into no name. So we'll keep an eye on whereabouts he is on track. I know he's not. He's gone into the 3rd sector. What's that? I can't remember what it's called. It's Blanchimont area, Stavelot, that kind of thing. So he's about to come through that now. As always, guys, we've got live stewarding for this, so you guys should know. Adam Dubil, welcome. And why are you not driving? I hope you are driving in any given tier, my friend. But just to go on to what you were saying, Jay, you're right. We do have a very good strength of field. We'll have drivers that represent a variety of different leagues, whether it's the SROs, whether it's the RCIs, or the AORs. We'll have guys who have taken multiple wins and championships all around the place. As Statsenko does exactly that and stamps out Luke Whitehead's march towards the front end. Have you noticed Luke Whitehead has taken number 1?
I mean, it's completely his right?
It is.
It's nice to see a driver do that.
Yeah.
And yeah, it paints a pretty big target on your back, but I'm sure
it does.
Knowing Whitehead as I do from only one season, that won't bother him in the slightest.
No, never afraid to get his shoulders out at all, is he? Really, get those arms out and make his way through the pack. So looks like we're going to have to see a little bit of a tussle between Luke Whitehead and Statsenko this afternoon. Whether we can see a Ferrari within that tussle, because we've got Tinker van der Velde and Jack Alexander flanking them as well. George Boothby then just coming down towards Blanchimont, turn 17, see what he can do. If he can improve any here, he's got pretty much 3/10 to improve, and he's on the bubble. He's under a 10th right now, so he might get into the top 3, but it might be a bit of a struggle. So let's see what he can do, Jay. Just needs to get a 10th through the bus stop. Can he manage it? He's got a 10th
Very
now.
slidey through the first part. That compromised him a bit on the exit, but he might have held it if he's got enough time over the lap. It's not quite enough of an improvement. I think I've got a feeling he lost most of it on the entry to that first part of the chicane. You could just hear the car sliding across, and meant that he couldn't get the ideal exit out onto the pit straight. But he'll go again.
He will indeed. Right, let's have a look at those improvers that we had last season. The likes of Jardier. He is in a Yas Heat Ferrari this season. Almost saw him fighting right at the top end, down in 34th this afternoon, so he's obviously had a little bit of a break. We've got, where's Darren King? There we go, Darren King. He's in a lovely, I think he's in a green liveried McLaren. Let's have a look at that when it goes past. Lovely stuff.
He is, yeah.
Not sure if his livery is coming through as it should do. Jota, not too sure what his team stands for.
Jota is a base, they're an actual team.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Base game livery by looking at it.
Oh. Savage. Never mind. Well, we'll keep touch what's going on ahead. George Boothby, 7/10 up, Jay, and he's going through no name. This could be pretty impressive.
I mean, that's biblical, if that's correct.
He's 6/10 up, yeah, at the moment, but he's stuck behind an Aston Martin. I'm not too sure who that is. George Boothby taking the number of the devil this season, 666. Going to be the devil in Luke Whitehead's ear all season. I hope so. As we come down towards turns 13, 14. Aston Martin's not really hindering him here. He's down another 2/10 though. He could use him for a little bit of a slipstream. How strong's the slip nowadays?
Should still be pretty powerful. It's obviously, when you're on something like a quali lap, it's balancing that against what you're obviously losing in the wash from the car ahead through the corners. I'd still say you don't really want to be this close, but he will definitely be gaining all the way down to the final chicane. It's whether he gets out of it. So obviously with only 30 seconds left, if he's got the fuel on board,
go for another one.
Took the executive decision not to muck up the final corner and give himself a little gap to go again.
That's a real
Van der
shame.
Velde, I think, has moved ahead of Luke Whitehead into P2 then. And Petrchenko in that McLaren has moved himself up into 5th place.
Ooh, Jura Petrchenko, hello, welcome. Stamping down his authority on season 11 already. The guys in the chat that's saying, I missed it at the time, but BMW Neil's got up into the top 10 with a broken downshift, which is mighty impressive. BMW Neil's is definitely not slacking. Right, we've hit the 0:00 on the time, and well, we're not going to actually have any improvements, I don't think, from the top 3. Statsenko, Tinker van der Velde, Luke Whitehead are all in the pit. We've got Jack Alexander, who's out at the moment. George Boothby we saw go through. The only improver I can see at the moment is Dara McCormack and the man that we're watching, Hugo Merlers. So we'll stay with these two at the moment until we see anything kind of happen. Jack Alexander, 4th place. How much has he got to improve to maybe get a position? He's got to get a 10th, at least, over a 10th. So we need to see a nice green 0.01 come up on our timing screen. I don't think we have. Guys, if you want to watch live timing, go to Pitwall, find the AOR server. I'll link you in a minute. You can watch exactly this. Jack Alexander has been overtaken by Amir Hassini for 4th place. Hugo Merlers pulls over. Right, let's stick to we'll stick to Dara McCormack as he's in 8th place. He's one of the only in the top 8 or so that could improve. Jack Alexander still could improve. George Boothby could improve. BMW Niels, I think, does improve and finishes and gets inside that top 10 with a broken downshift, Jay.
Yeah, I was just about to point that out. Great effort from him to get himself into top 10. Don't know if that issue's persisting, but in that BMW, that's a pretty good effort. I've got a feeling in the bot it might be going backwards, that BMW, as was its domination, well, along with the Porsche before. But Boothby's put it into the barrier. I presume that was on purpose. I don't think he's improving.
No.
So he's not going to improve from that 7th place. So it's going to be up to McCormack to see if he can improve behind him.
We're on board with number 14 at the moment, or at least we're hovering over him as he goes through the bus stop. A little bit slippery on the entry, but okay on the exit. I don't think he's going to improve here, or he's going to be very minimal. Dara McCormack across the line. No, that is 8th place, unfortunately for him. But we'll see some of the other drivers come through. BMW Niels, he's actually pulled over now. And that is it, unfortunately. We are all done there. So the top 3, at least, Mikhail Statsenko, new man on the block, going P1. Good stuff for him. Tinker van der Velde, out of nowhere. He was, I think, Season 9 contender. I'm loving whoever's got that livery, the 101 car. We'll come back to that later. Luke Whitehead in 3rd place. And wow, there we go. Luke Whitehead, current and reigning champion, only managed to get 3rd place. It's a top 3 Honda grid there. So it's going to be Hondas all round by the sounds of things, Jay.
Yeah, it is for this one. I was wondering how long it was going to take you to spot that Audi livery. I wasn't going to point it out until it popped up. But yeah,
who's rocking that Audi livery? One sec. How did that get past Toaster? I'm not.
It's not too bad.
It's
mooning.
There's a bit of side there, isn't there? Oh dear.
It could be a lot worse. Yeah, no, Honda's looking incredibly strong. We'll see if that translates into race pace. Obviously, they might be quick in a straight line, but it's dependent on how well they can keep the tyres, how well they can look after, complete the strategy, and outthink their teammates as well. But it's definitely going to help them down the Kemmel Straight, especially on the first lap. But they're looking very strong at the moment. And then I was expecting to see a wall of Ferraris behind them, but we've got some interesting prospects in Petruchenko, McCormack, Niels, in the BMW, Porsche, and McLarens. Up there. Other than that, the top 15 are Ferraris and Hondas. But there's some really quick drivers from last season in those Ferraris and Hondas. You say Prendergast had some good races coming through the field, as did Merlers last year, and Smearfosh. So
can't forget Black Goldsor
in
a Ferrari. Didn't necessarily impress
down in
today.
19th. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Before we started the race, I put out a poll. There was only so many questions I could say in that poll, but anyway, it was who's going to take the first win. I said Luke Whitehead, George Boothby, Malinowski, or Black Goldsor. It was a 32% Luke Whitehead, 31% George Boothby, 20% Malinowski, and only 16% said Black Goldsor. We actually had 93 people take part in that poll. So Luke Whitehead has got a lot of fans out there. So's George Boothby. 2 champions absolutely battling. Jay, we should run through the top 30, 48 because it's probably going to take a while. So let's quickly run through it. So leading them away on the front step of the grid, we've got Mikhail Statsenko, Tinker van der Velde joins him on the front row. Luke Whitehead and Amir Hassini on the second row. Jack Alexander, brand new to us, thank you very much, joined by Juro Petruchenko on the third row. Unsafe rejoin Jura Petruchenko. No more of that, please, Jura. We'll be watching you. We've got fourth row George Boothby and Dara McCormack. Good stuff from both those drivers. BMW Niels and Angel Istroza on the fifth row. Lucas Markvart, we haven't seen much of him. So, welcome to AOR Tier 1. He'll be joined by Hugo Merlers. On the 6th row. Then we've got Kieran Prendergast and Hubert Simonensky on the 7th row. Samir Foch and Grantis Caracas on the 8th row. 9th row is Marco Yonkers and Luke Addison. Welcome, Luke. I can't remember if you were here last time. Black Goldsaw, not the best of qualifyings for us today. He'll be joined on the 10th row by Isaac Price, Arthur Camara, and then Sven Hetic. They'll be on the 11th row. Marek Schintz and Jardier on the 12th. Aiden, come on. Walsingham will be joined by Leon Byrne. Valentine Barrier will be joining Max Wattinger. I can't say your surname, Max, I'm really sorry. Tom Gorka. And Candy, I think that's Candy Moonen. That was the Dodgy 101. Welcome and great livery. And then we've got on the, I think this is the 15th row, will be joined, was Candy and Tom. 16th row will be Cody and Vasily Anarev. We're going to completely forget rows because it's too hard now. Darren King, behind him, Tobias Scher, Arthur Patet, and Vanko Wunko Dimitrov. Some big names at the back here. Philip Minar and Gasper Mark will be down towards the back as well. We've got Boris. I'm not going to embarrass you, Boris, because your surname is hard. We've got the Apple Man and Trevor Wenham behind him. Oh my God, Hacker down in 42nd. Welcome back, though, Felix. Good to see you back. We've got Jesse Klauppinen coming back too. Felix Arndt, Harry Phillips, Gert Fischer, Lois Regina, and Connor Wright bringing up the rear. That was tough, and I'm sorry if I butchered your names. I can't help it. I'm English.
All part of the entertainment of having you as lead commentator.
Thank you very much.
It's part of the experience, and we all love you for it. It's a great effort, nevertheless.
Yes.
I would get into as much trouble, I'm sure. Yeah, I think that some of the names towards the back there, as you were saying, that just shows how much of a mixed up grid this is going to be. You know, it's a reset of everything. It's a reset of the BOP, of the field, of the points, and maybe of the guard. We'll see. But yeah, I'm really interested to see, because you know, you can qualify as well as you can, but especially with a field this large, first race of the season, the nerves are approaching you. Anything could happen, especially down that Kemmel Straight for the first time. So
it's a real shame we haven't got the top two's paint scheme showing. Shout out to Tinko van der Velde and the Williams Esports boys. Williams Esports, if you're listening to this, it's really simple, right? You have a customs folder. Inside that, you have two other folders, okay? You've got to make sure you get the right bits in there and make sure your driver selects the right one. Otherwise, we're playing random pickaroo of all of the different liveries and it doesn't work. So unfortunately we're not going to know who is overtaking who, because Tinko and Statsenko look almost identical, so we're going to have to go on numbers, unfortunately. Luke Whitehead, though, managed to work it out this season. Fantastic for him. He's part of the Go Setups team. I actually like that livery. It's cool.
Yeah, that's not loading correctly for me either. He's just got a bright pink car for me.
Oh no, it's definitely loading correct for me.
Yeah, I can see that on the stream. But yeah, hopefully we'll get things like that sorted out for the second race. Would be nice to differentiate between them. It might cause some confusion in the commentating, but I'm sure we'll work it out.
Interestingly enough, Luke Whitehead and Amir Hassini, both in the same team, it looks like. Both Go Setups boys. So a bit of a team dynamic there. Different cars. Similar liveries, and both fighting out in the top four. So that will be very interesting to see how those drivers do.
Yeah, that's the interesting thing. Statsenko's in the Yasik team as well. We haven't seen him before, but he's obviously joined that team of presumably that's going to have Samir and Hardier and Valentin in it, I presume. They'll all be in the same team. They normally are.
Have a look.
Also in different cars.
Mm.
But yeah, hopefully there's a few more sets of teammates in this one, because the team championship was not as hotly contested last year. But if we've got a lot more team entrants and teammates, then it's something else that we can track, and something else that they'll be fighting for this season.
Yeah, I think so. Going through chat, people asking who Prenta Senior is cheering for. Kieran Prendergast. Obviously, Kieran's down in P13 at the moment. I say down in P13, that's actually pretty high for Kieran, considering strength of field. So very well, good luck for him anyway. So we'll see. Malinowski question mark. I know he's the big question mark today. Apparently not feeling very well. Didn't start the race. He was on the listing, but then disappeared. So I don't know what's going on there. I don't think he's turned up today. I think he's a bit under the weather. So you're listening, Mr. Tortellini. I wish you all the best, and I hope we see you next week.
Yes, he's going to be a very, very fast wildcard to come back in, considering he was the fastest of the qualifiers as well. So, yeah, one of the biggest names in ACC, and we hope that he does feel better and is here.
When you say faster than qualifiers, you mean as in the pre-quali to set tiers, right?
Correct, yeah.
Yeah. Just information for you guys. Right, we've got... is the start line on the where we think it is, or is it round the corner, Jay?
It is round the corner.
Okay, we won't go crazy until we go round the corner, unless they say so. But I think
it's amazing. Right. It seems to catch people out every time, even though RGT has had this for decades, but
100% can confirm.
Watching, it is not where you think it is.
It is round the corner. It is round the corner.
Which makes Eau Rouge and Radion all that more hairy and interesting, especially with 48 rampant GT cars going for it. And I'd be amazed if we see them all through clearly the first time.
As always, Jay, I'll stay at the top, you stay at the bottom. We're going to go live very, very soon for the brand new season 11, 1X or X1, whoever knows, GT3 Tier 1 for AOR. We're about to go green, green, green as these boys jostle for position. The two Hondas are right next to each other. If this was F1, they'll be slapping themselves in the face, because you can't do that. You get many penalties. We've gone green, 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 Jay. Let's see what Luke Whitehead can do behind these rampaging Hondas. He's up the inside of Tinker van der Velde already into Eau Rouge. They managed to get through together. What a fantastic view as they all scrap down towards the top of Radion and Eau Rouge. No, I don't think we found any touching. I think we're okay. Any news from the back?
Yeah, we've got Boris and Philip Minard making contacts up Radion.
That's no good.
Back of the field. Looks like they should be able to keep going, but yeah, they made contacts at the bottom of Eau Rouge and hit the wall at the top of Radion. But apart from that, all pretty clean for the moment. But this is where they're all going to have to watch out and sort each other out as they come through this middle sector. Twisty, we've got Aston Martin off in the background. No, sorry, it's Gert Fischer in the Mercedes, but how are we doing back up front?
Gert Fischer, isn't that the man from The Witcher?
That's Geralt of Rivia. Yeah, it's close. Yeah, sure. Boris has stopped on track, so obviously has too much damage to return to pit lane. He's now in pit lane by way of jumping back there. Unfortunately, not the start he would have wanted to the season.
Fantastic. ACC manager is shouting his own praises there, saying that you should use his services for liveries, I think, because that is actually the official ACC manager YouTube in the chat telling us we should be using ACC manager for our liveries. I will recommend it to the Toasterino. We've had a big shunt in the centre section here, Jay. It's a huge off. We've got lots of cars involved. We don't even have to rewind that one, but it looks like Hardier managed to get himself through that. I did see some cars off. I'm not going to rewind. Screw it, I'm going to rewind and let's see what happens. We'll go on board.
Yeah, they're almost 3 or 4 wide coming back out onto the straight, and as they're all trying to sort themselves out as they try and risk as much as they can to pick through with the stuff going off. So it looks like there was a car already backwards over on the right, wasn't there? And then it's just that concertina effect. So once there's an incident, everybody... Well, half the field trying to be cautious and the other half trying to make the opportunistic moves to gain a few places.
Oh my God, there's so many cars on track. It's absolutely mental. Hey-ho, they managed to get through. I think I saw 2 Yas heats going toe-to-toe. We do have 2 Yas heats.
The corner is absolutely... We've got a McLaren facing the wrong way. I think that might be Dimitrov.
Oh, God. Vasilianarev managed to get his way through.
Oh, and he's pulled straight ahead of him. The 65 Honda. That's not how you re-enter the pit lane. There's now a Porsche the other way. Gert Fischer is backwards at the final. The pit entry should be closed at this point. It's absolute carnage.
We're going to watch that again. So Hettich looks like he took a chunk of possibly BMW Niels, gets spun round. I can't see who that is. It's a Go Setups driver, and then he is just facing everyone, unfortunately. Rejoins the track, tries to get into the pit, does he? Oh, he takes out a car on a pit entry. Oh, and we've jammed. Okay, well, Hettich, unfortunately, is going to get a big old slap on the wrist for that, I think, from the stewards. Oh, my God, he's called carnage, hasn't he, there? Unfortunately for him.
It's not a safe re-entry.
That is definitely...
By any stretch of the imagination.
Yeah, that's... that one is one for the books of how not to do it. Right, we have had a little bit of a kind of widening of the guard at the front. We've got Statsenko, who's managed to get a little bit of space from Tinke van der Velde. Something's happened earlier on with Luke Whitehead. I'm not too sure, but he's down in 7th. I'm sorry, boys, we can't watch everything. It was chaos at the beginning. We wanted to bring you all of that chaotic action, but in that chaos, unfortunately, Luke Whitehead has dropped a couple of positions. George Boothby's jumped up. So's BMW Niels, because he's in 5th position. Amir Hassini jumps up to 4th. Yeah, we've had some real changes. Jack Alexander, at the moment, got the fastest lap out of all of them. Crazy. Absolutely nuts. That's what happens when you have 48 odd cars on the track.
Yeah, the eye is immediately drawn to the about 30 cars in the midfield that are 3 or 4 wide. So, yeah, we may have missed a few things up front there. But, as you say, it may calm down as it goes along. We should be able to track things a little bit better, as we've got about 7 or 8 cars in the pit lane from those incidents on the opening lap.
Oh, goodness gracious. Should we go through some of those pitters so people know what's happening?
Oh, Hubert's from P15 has put it into the wall. Sorry to interrupt you, just before the final chicane. For the Honda OP team has had a massive shunt. He was running well in P15. I didn't see the beginning of that, but he's surely going to have to pit with that.
Is that Hubert Szymanenski? Yeah, we're watching him now. We'll go on board then for what happens coming through Blanchimont. We haven't got much action going at the top, so we might as well focus. Gets a little bit wobbly on the exit curve, but Blanchimont can't hold it. Boom! And that's all she wrote there. That is pretty damn spicy. Lovely looking livery on that Honda. Doesn't look so good now, unfortunately. Rejoins fine. But that is a very much jump into the pit as quick as you can. See what you can do, boys. I'm going to be in there for a good 30 seconds or so.
And the rest.
Yeah, never mind. Let's go through those pitters then as we stay with Black Gold Saw. See who's still in there. So obviously Hubert, we can see Angel has been caught up. We got Sven Hitich, obviously we saw, and Gert Fischer also pitted. Some of those boys who did have to pit because of all of this that went on, Kalpanen, Max Walshinja, Philip Minar, Lois, Luke Addison, looks like he got caught up in that. Boris was probably one of those cars that we saw going round. I think that is roughly all the guys that have already pitted, but I'm sure there's more, we just haven't seen it. But Yonkers goes through. Black Gold's still got a problem here, because he's just let a couple of cars go through. Not too sure what's happening to him, or at least one car.
I think that's where he...
Sorry. Was that a Porsche?
That's where he was.
No, it was a Porsche.
Yeah, Yonkers and Prendergast.
Yeah, it might have been a back Porsche getting out of the way. Yeah, sorry.
So there's some interesting fights developing towards the front then. So we've got Boothby all over the back of Niels after his very good start. And then we've got Luke Whitehead. As you say, we didn't see what happened, but he's creating a little bit of a train behind him.
Yes.
Petrchenko and Dare McCormack behind. But it's probably Boothby on Niels that we might want to keep an eye on coming into the final chicane.
Yeah, I will. We shall stay with him. Looking at the split times at the moment, Black Gold Saw is actually moving up on Yonkers. That's what we were watching earlier on. Price is getting close to Jardier back there for 21st place. But the top 3 stayed the same-ish. It's changed since the beginning, but stayed the same since we last checked it. Statsenko, Van der Velde, Alexander. Statsenko sets the fastest lap in the previous. So yeah, no movement in the top 3. Hassini is staying there. BMW Niels is up there. Something massive must have happened.
I just want to point something out. I've just realised Bentley Niels is in the M6.
Bentley Niels?
He was in a BMW.
I thought this was BMW Niels. Are we getting our Nielses crossed?
Oh, I might be, yeah.
There are lots of Niels.
BMW Niels. Yeah, he's in the M6 in terms of he's not in the M4.
Is he? Okay, let's have a look.
As in, I mean,
of course he is, yes. You're right.
How he was defending down these straights. That'll be why. The wide boy of the M6 is pretty handy in a straight line.
The Adam Driver of ACC cars. That's how you get that move.
Sorry, I was looking on track and I wasn't listening to you.
It's fine. It happens all the time.
I normally do when you say memes anyway. You know me. As soon as you say anything to do with memes, I tune out.
It's fine. No, impressive to be fair then. BMW Niels choosing... I think, I've got a funny feeling last time he was racing, it was in the M6 because we didn't have the M4, so that's fine. It is M4, isn't it? It's not an M3.
Correct, yeah. The normal BMW is the M4.
The M3
and that's
is
where
the
I may be
GT4
getting
stuff.
confused because I always remember you saying a Bentley Niels. So there's 2 Niels, and that's
why
many
Nielses.
That's why you differentiate them by manufacturer.
he's here, guys. He's with us. Yeah, exactly. That is the reason why, unfortunately. And I apologise to all of the Nilses involved when I said I'm going to associate you with cars. They were fine with it.
They have a surname, but no, we're going to do it by manufacturer of car. So I'm on board with a pretty tasty battle with Kieran Honda. We've got Marco Honda and Black Gold Ferrari, who's trying to make his way through. Sorry.
It's fine, carry on. It's only because BMW Nils, his surname is a little hard for us Brits, and I don't want to pronounce it wrong. It's Naujoks, right? So BMW Nils. Nils Naujoks. Is he Dutch? Who knows? Let me know in the chat if you know. Where does he hail from? Where does BMW Nils call home? I want to know. No movement, though, in the top three, unfortunately. I'm sure we got lots of movement going on behind, with Black Gold Saw and Yonkers getting incredibly close. Prendergast looks like he's holding them up, as we're seeing here with Luke Whitehead, Petrokenjo and Darren McCormack. So we might have to just swaddle on down. We're not going to leave that gaggle. We'll come back, but I think there's a little bit more pressing things to watch just up ahead, as Yonkers slowly ekes up to the back of Kira Prendergast, and Black Gold Saw follows him with intent.
Yes, Yonkers tried to have a little look on the outside of turn one. He felt better of it and has had a really good run up Origin Radion, but it's Black Gold Saw actually that's going to pull to the inside. Cos Prendergast is defending. That's given Black Gold Saw the slipstream. He got a double dose of slipstream. Had a little... oh, that's a big wobble from Prendergast as he tries to defend. He's going to push Black Gold Saw as far as he can, but Black Gold Saw was given just enough room, and he gets 2 Hondas for the price of 1.
That is a good buy one, get one free offer. I'm liking. Very well done from Black Gold Saw.
Very impressed with that straight line speed from the Ferrari. As I say, that's one of those things where you... it's the worst thing in the world for the car behind. You pull out because you think you've got enough slipstream, and all you do is give slipstream to the car behind you to get the one off the car you're trying to overtake. And that didn't really work out for Yonkers. And that's Black Gold Saw released, and we'll see what kind of pace he's got now.
Yeah, BGS is now going to shoot off. He's obviously got a very slippery car this afternoon because, like we say, the Hondas are actually fast boys. But look at that. Absolute worm of cars that we've got going on there behind Yonkers. Liam Byrne, I think that's Marek Schintz, Arthur Kramer, Samir Foch, all in that line. So we'll see what happens with that. But Yonkers holding up all of those cars. Lights are asunder there from Liam Bowen. He wants to get past, but he's not going to be able to. Marek Schintz right in the slipstream. He wants a piece of this action. And I think really Arthur Kramer is just staying there, seeing what's going to happen, to be honest. He's in the BMW right at the very back as they come through Belchimont. Good stuff. We're all holding on. No sideways action like we saw from Hubert early on. We're all good as he goes for a move into the bus stop. He's going to try it, Yonkers. See if he can get that little inside line, but doesn't manage to do it, as Liam Byrne does. Fantastic manoeuvre there, but he's not going to have the inside line for the next corner, but he does pull in front. Nicely done then from Leon. Good stuff from him. Yonkers then having to drop down another position when he was attacking. It happens like that though, Jay, sometimes. Sometimes it giveth, sometimes it take away.
Super opportunistic move from Leon. He was watching them battle it out, and obviously Yonkers tried the outside line, didn't get far enough across to get down the inside at the second part of the chicane, as they all take a very interesting lineup, Radion. And that compromised him on exit. Leon just waited, was a little bit earlier on the brakes into the final part of the chicane, which opened up the corner, and as you said, he was almost ahead by the time they got to the first turn. And kept that move done. And they're going to have to get a move on here because the two Yas Heat boys have been recovering through the field. And you've got Samir Foch and Hardier coming up on the back of this group to make it, what, a train of nearly 8 or 9 cars now. It's going to get pretty spicy, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I've completely missed this whole introduction of this Go Setups team. It seems to be everywhere, all over Twitter of recently, so if any information anyone has on Go Setups, go ahead, because I want to know.
I would imagine they do setups.
I've actually found out that they do setups, so yeah, well done.
Unless they're just cheering on the general concept of setups. But,
I think so.
I feel it's a new setup site probably, and they've probably got some fast names to be doing their setups for them.
Yeah, I think so. We got some good setup boys there waiting in the wings to build up their setups. Lots of setups going on. Should we stop saying setups? I think so. Let's go up to see what's happening with the boys that were threatening earlier on. Dara McCormack still trying to get past Petrochenko. Luke Whitehead and Boothby somewhat close. What's happened to Black Goldsaw since he was given the green light? It's got a second and a half as Dara McCormack looks for the inside line into the final corner complex. Doesn't quite make it, but he's got the cutback on that McLaren of Jura Petrochenko. It's strange because Jura Petrochenko never normally runs that livery, so I'm always a bit confused. But there you go, he's got a new one. Dara McCormack trying to make inroads, but he's not having any of it. It looks like Luke Whitehead actually is trying desperately to get back with the guys ahead. We thought he was holding people up, but might have had some damage, but he definitely doesn't. He's pressing on.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting. Well, firstly, I want to see how this Porsche gets on, because Petrochenko has fallen off those three in front of him, and I'm interested to see what the straight line speed of the Porsche is going to be like against the McLaren now that Petrochenko's not really got the slipstream, but there is a better battle going on ahead, to be honest, with those three. Luke Whitehead trying to make a move on Boothby. McCormack couldn't really get a run, but he's just about getting onto the inside of Petrochenko. Can he hold it? No, Petrochenko holds it around the outside and says, no, sir, not today. This whole queue is here because of this incredible drive so far from BMW Nils in that M6. It's got to be down to the straight line speed of that car, that he's got Boothby and Whitehead behind him, and they're not really making any kind of impression. And as you say, we didn't see what happened early on to Luke Whitehead, but he's now got onto the back of Boothby, and see if he has a better time getting past Nils than him.
We'll see. Whereabouts is Nils? He's in 5th place. So let's see how well he can hold on. Where is Boothby? Right close up near him. 10th behind each other. The top three, though, still hasn't changed. Stetsenko, Tinker van der Velde, followed by Alexander. Amir Hessini in 4th place. Yeah, and this is the battle we're watching right now. BMW Nils. I would have thought he's got his equipment fixed for the race. Do you think? In that little downtime in between setting up setups for the race, hopefully he was able to reset something and get it working again.
It's possible it was intermittent, or it still is. Downshift stuff like that often are. It's very rare that the switch goes all together. It normally just goes intermittent, and it can get better or worse. So from the way he started and the way he's defending against those boys, it suggests it's not bothering him too much at the moment. I don't know if you want to drop back to Hardier and Yonkers. I said those Yas Heat boys were coming, and Samir Foch actually pits out of that battle. So that's the first sort of normal stop we've seen, not damage related. Pitting from 17th place then. That releases Yonkers again. Yonkers going a little bit backwards in this train. But yeah, Hardier onto the back of this group now. Didn't qualify too well, but he always races well. And you saw him picking his way through that chaos early on, didn't you?
Yes.
I think that's where he's made up the time. And into this train now.
Yeah, definitely got a little bit of luck through turns 13, 14, where we saw all of that action. But the track does really tighten up through there. And if you've got
Petrochenko and McCormack
from toe to toe.
Yeah. McCormack pushes Petrochenko out wide. That was a little rude, and that's allowed Chip. All right, it's Hugo Merles that's gone through, and it's now Caracas that fancies a run at being the lead McLaren. And that's gone bad to worse in a couple of corners for Caracas there. The Porsche of McCormack did finally get the inside line that time, and then maybe didn't give quite enough room to Petrochenko on the exit there. But he's through, and see if he can get himself after Luke Whitehead and George Boothby ahead of that train now, isn't it? So we'll see now they're released whether they've got any more pace.
We've got some news. Okay, we've got some news about Go setups. All right, hadn't heard of it, so thank you very much, Robert.
If this is just they make setups.
So apparently it's this young man's brother, Cody Sherritt, younger brother of Jordan Sherritt, who's currently a Lamborghini esports driver, previous Formula 4 driver, possibly, I think I saw on his Instagram. So South African driver, and he set up Go setups, apparently. I don't know if that's the case. Chat are telling me. Thank you very much for telling me. If it is the case, there you go.
Ooh. Kieran Prendergast is in the wall.
Oh, goodness gracious. We should probably rewind that.
A Blanchimont. I don't know if that was contact with another car or whether he lost it all on his own. But he's going to be getting straight into the pit lane. And yeah, we'll see if you can find out on replay what happened there.
Well, he's had a nasty whack on the front end. We only caught the rear of that, but no, not too sure.
He is giving himself an early stop as well to see if he can find his way past Nils.
Lots of cars coming in, actually. Anna Frev, Barrier, also coming in. Luckily, Barrier didn't find the barrier like Prendergast did, unfortunately, so he's going to have a longer stop for the number 10. That's not going to be very good for him. So, right, we will we'll leave that and come back very shortly. I want to see what's going on with the Ripper himself, Mr. Luke Whitehead, currently in 6th place. He is following BMW Nils, fallen off a little bit because he was really close earlier.
Well, remember there was a car in between those two that's just gone into pit lane, George Boothby.
Boothby.
So it'll be interesting to see. Nils, you feel, has been using the straight line speed of that BMW to stay ahead. So it'll be interesting to see if he pulls straight in this lap to try and defend from that. And as you say, Luke Whitehead at the Ripper, see if he can make any progress now that he's got a bit more fresh air ahead of him.
So we're watching at the
Why
moment.
is he called the Ripper?
That's his nickname. You know, you can have a nickname, so it's Luke the Ripper Whitehead. Don't know either. Maybe we should ask him. I'm sure he'll tell us every single reason why it's the Ripper in a monologue.
Not the best associated nickname in history.
The good thing is, though, when you see him behind you, it says RIP in his number, which I think is quite cool.
That might be why, because that is.
I thought it's quite cool.
A daunting message to give over.
Definitely. When you see RIP in the car behind you, you know it's Luke. Grantis Caracas, 10th place currently, trying to get onto the back of Jura Petrochenko. Hugo Merlers and Dara McCormack are the two cars ahead. I think it is a back marker you can see behind in the pink livery Porsche. So we've got 2 instances of possible overtaking scenarios here from the number 19 and also the number 13 of Hugo Merlers. So we'll see what happens there. Merlers was flashing his lights and they have swapped around. Dara McCormack's come in, that is why he swapped around. So it's going to be a 3-way tussle then between these cars. Dara McCormack in the pit. So was he covering off Boothby? Saw that a couple of guys had come in and thought, you know what, this is my time to shine. Marek Schintz has also come into the pit. So is Schur also come into the pits. Another one there. Gorka's come into the pit too. So we've got massive amounts of pitters going on right now as Petrochenko getting very close to Hugo Merlers since he got some fresh air there, Jay. That McLaren obviously likes a little bit of a gap.
We need to try and get back through, remember, because he was obviously just pushed wide from McCormack a lap and a half ago and lost a few positions. So he's trying to get himself back through. In terms of that pit stop, I think that's more to get the advantage on these guys that we're seeing now, because Boothby was about 4 seconds down the road with Nils and Whitehead. They're the two we want to see in comparison to him. But yeah, I think from McCormack, he just wants to try and maybe get the undercut on these 3 and get a bit of clean air because they've been fighting so hard that I don't think any of them really know their true pace at the moment.
Yeah, it needs to all kind of jiggle itself out. We did see Petrochenko go for a move up the inside, well, outside of turn 7 into the Coombe. Didn't quite have enough of the car on the up the side of Merlers and had to sacrifice the inside line going through the next corner. Didn't quite make it stick, but Merlers showed him enough of the exit curb that he thought better of it and would stay and give it another go, seeing he's got Grantis Caracas right behind him. Didn't want to take any risks as Hugo Merlers goes very wide through turn 13, but here we go. I think it's 14 actually, but never mind. This little gang of cars have been together for a while, haven't they, this group? They haven't seemed to be able to split themselves apart. Petrochenko, Caracas and Hugo Merlers, they've been reeled together and stuck, and other people around them have decided to pit, so these are the guys that didn't decide to flip the coin. I wonder when the top boys are going to come in. You know, the likes of Alexander Hassini possibly would be able to jump someone if they come in early. We'll have to see what happens with those guys. Anyone pull the pit? No. Okay, so we're still going round again for the top at least 8. Yeah,
so I was just keeping an eye during that on where McCormack did come out in regards to Boothby, and it's about the same margin behind, although it hasn't really sorted itself out after the Kemmel yet. Yes, it's about 3.8 seconds. So Boothby's not really pulled that much at the moment in comparison to Nils and Whitehead, who obviously stayed out. But we'll see if both those cars can find some pace now. Yeah, the top three, I mean, they're pretty equidistant between them, haven't they? And they have been since the start. So you're right. It maybe someone like Jack Alexander would be good to. Although Hossolini's been slowly closing in on him. He's only a second back now. So maybe Hossolini or Alexander might be worth pulling the trigger to see if they can get a bit of undercut. The problem is, with 48 cars around here and some of the incidents we've had, you can't guarantee you're going to get the free air you need to really put the hammer down. So maybe they do want to just go as deep into the race as they can. Because it's all about points of championship, obviously. And they're all in good positions at the moment.
Got some more pitters, Jay. Darren King, Trevor Wenham, Connor Wright. Old statesman
I was about to
of AOR.
say that there's a really interesting train back there. There was Wenham, Wright, Boothby, and not Boothby, King, Wenham, Wright, and who was the other one from last year that not going to work? Dimitrov as well was in that train. There's probably some good racing we've missed back there.
They've decided to pull it in now. Anyway, but saying that, you know, some of these guys have turned it around. Jardier's up in 13th place. Obviously, we had some pitters, haven't we? So that's probably why. But, well, here we go. Petrochenko's trying desperately to get up to the back of Hugo Merles, but Merles just seems to have him out the corners. The age-old battle of Ferrari versus McLaren does continue. Grantis Caracas has stayed there, though. He's gone with them. One to watch, and you did mention him a minute ago. Amir Hassini has managed to get himself really inside of a second now, so that slipstream is going to be definitely working for him. So let's maybe stay with him as he gets closer to Jack Alexander. Chat was touting as one to watch, but now that Amir Hassini is really definitely in that slip going up the Kemmel, we might see a change of the guard, and we know from who we were watching earlier, I think it was Black Goldsaw, that this Ferrari, if set up correctly, can be very slippery. So let's see what Amir Hassini. He's lost a 10th through turn 1. Never mind. Rouge and Radion, I think that should be all good. Does he get that 10th back next time we go through the timing screen? We'll see.
Well, this is where the Honda's obviously going to be a lot stronger, so I'd imagine the Ferrari's picking up its time in comparison to him in the middle sector. We've got some big pit stops this lap, by the way. Luke Whitehead is pitting, so it's going to be interesting to see where he comes out.
Yep.
In comparison to Boothby, Merles in the pits as well as Petrochenko and Hardier this lap.
Yeah, Black Goldsaw stays out, so is Liam Byrne, Kramer, Sherratt, all haven't stayed in. Yeah, like you say, Jardier's come in, Walsingham's come in, Vanko Dimitrov's come in, and Moonen also in. So yeah, we'll see how that settles. But now we've had a lot of cars that are very much around that area that have pitted. We might see where Boothby and McCormack will come out in comparison. So maybe let's just jump down to George Boothby, because I'm sure this will continue. But as these guys come out of the pits, we'll see if he's managed to jump anyone, or at least put a little bit more of a yardstick between them.
I'll tell you what, you stay with Boothby, I'll stay with Whitehead, and I'll let you know when he's moving and getting to pit exit, and we'll see, because yeah, this is going to be an interesting one. So Whitehead's been released now, but he's got about half the pit lane to go.
Well, Boothby's coming through turn 1, so it's going to be, I think he might jump him here. We'll go on board. Whereabouts is Luke Whitehead? Is he coming down the final end?
He's about 2 car lengths from the pit exit. He's releasing the pit limiter now up the hill.
Here comes Boothby.
He's got him on the right.
Yeah, fail cam engaged comfortably.
Do you know what? I would go on board with David McCormack, because I think he's the one that's in danger of, or Whitehead's in danger of it.
Did we say Dave McCormack then?
Yeah,
welcome to England, Dave.
Dara.
Just like O'Brien, yeah. Dave McCormack sounds fantastic, though. So, Dara, unfortunately, you're now Dave.
I know it's quite rude if it's not his name.
No. Oh, Moonan's got himself a stop-go 30. That's speeding in the pit lane. That is going to really hurt Moonan, unfortunately. What can you do?
So, this is really interesting, because Boothby, that's a big jump. He's 4 seconds ahead of Luke Whitehead. Stratsenko's in from the lead, by the way, as is Nils from P5.
Fantastic.
So I think Boothby's going to be comfortably, unless there was something in the pit stop that Luke Whitehead did, such as a small repair or something.
We didn't know if he had a little repair to do. Do you remember?
So this will be the telling thing then, where Nils comes out in regards to Boothby. If Boothby comes out, if Nils comes out around about Whitehead, then I think Boothby's a danger to Alexander and Hossolini here, because they were about 4 seconds ahead of that battle.
Okay.
And Boothby's come out 4 seconds ahead of Whitehead. So just doing some of the arithmetic there. We'll have to wait and see.
Contacting Jay down in Maths Corner. He thinks we may have a change of the top 3. We'll see.
Oh no,
See?
I haven't carried the 1. No, I've got
Oh dear. What have we got going on a little bit further back? Dara McCormack's getting very close to... Sorry, not Dara McCormack. Yes, it is Dara McCormack. Luke Whitehead ahead.
It's
Dave.
mate.
Dave and Whitehead. He is gaining, actually, on Whitehead. I didn't see that happening.
He was more of a danger than Boothby was to him. And obviously, Whitehead's still trying to get his tyres up to temperature.
Come on,
So
Dave.
keep an eye on. So Nils is moving.
Is he? That's good.
But, sorry, from his pit stop.
Okay.
Because we obviously want to see where Nils
News
is.
just in. BMW Nils is moving.
There's a car moving. They put the wheels on it. They realise the problem.
This is the kind of statistics you can expect from Range and Jay. Okay?
Boothby's going to clear him
Yes.
comfortably. So
Wow.
I think Boothby's a real danger to Alexander and Hossolini if they don't get in quickly, yeah? Because Whitehead will catch him by the end of the straight or get pretty close. So, yeah, if I was
Where's George? George
Hossolini
is
or Alexander, I'd
miles
get
away.
in.
George is miles away.
Yeah,
Absolutely
he's-
jumped him.
Well, the gap was about 4.1 seconds between Nils and Hossolini. All 3 of the remaining front 3 are in. So Van der Velde, Alexander and Hossolini. So
They've all come in. Right.
George Boothby needs the lap of his life here, and he might jump himself up to 3rd place.
All right. Well, we're on board at the moment, Luke Whitehead, because he's got Dave McCormack behind.
No, let's not make it a thing, 'cause I feel bad enough with this.
I'm sure he won't mind. He's Irish, you know. He'll be fine. It's okay.
Exactly, he
This
will
is
mind.
this is where we make the nickname. They like the nicknames. It makes them feel more involved. Dave McCormack will enjoy his new. It comes from a form of endearment.
Oh,
He will
God's
love it.
sake.
Welcome, Dave. Nice to speak to you. Next time we speak to him, we will refer to him as Dave and see if he remembers or knows why. Anyone who is friends with Dara McCormack, you know him inside the sim racing environment. He is now Dave. We are going to, move this name throughout the stratosphere of sim racing.
I hate you sometimes. I really do.
Arthur Camera is your new race leader at the moment because he hasn't pitted. But we have got Hassini leaving the pit exit here. George Boothby, whereabouts is he? We're just on board with him now. He's coming towards the bus stop. I'm not sure here, Jay. This is going to be mighty close. We'll stay with Boothby, literally inside Boothby. It's where I like to be. It's my safe space. We'll stay with George and we'll see what happens. But I think the likes of Van der Velde and Alexander are going to be okay. But he might catch him towards
Alexander's
the end.
only just got going. He's still not at the pit exit.
Really?
Where's Boothby?
Boothby has just gone through turn 1. It's going down towards...
Alexander's just released the pit limiter.
Okay, I can see him leaving. Is that
So,
Hassini
yeah,
behind?
that's Hassini and Alexander. So he's going to get at least alongside.
Oh, he's going to munch him. He's going to munch Hassini.
Yep.
See you later,
So he
Hassini.
sails past 1. Is he going to have enough to get 1 more?
Yes, he
and
is.
get
This is George
Alexander as
Boothby.
well?
He's going to do it. Previous
Gonna go
champion.
for it, is he?
Got to go for it. He's got to go for it. Oh, he almost sends it down into turn 7, but he doesn't. Thinks about the long game, George, but he doesn't make the move. I don't know. If that was you, I would have gone for it. Who knows what's going to happen? He's got a lot of tyre underneath him. He should be okay here to get past Alexander. This is for 2nd place, is it not? Or at least 3rd. This is 3rd.
Yeah, so Stratsenko and Van der Velde's got out ahead of this battle. So it is for 3rd, final step on the podium. As you say, Boothby, this would be his opportunity when he's got the fresh tyres. He's been on these tyres, don't forget, for 10, 12 minutes. So there is going to be a tyre advantage for Hossolini and Alexander. So Boothby needs to take this opportunity. But it's not the easiest place to pass. He'll have a think about chucking it down the inside there, but
Not happening.
only a think about it. I think his chance is probably going to be into the final chicane if he can stay close enough.
He's got to
But
make
Honda
that chance
obviously
happen.
very good
though.
in the straight line.
He's got to do it because look what the gap between McCormack and Whitehead now has gone to 1.2. So if he doesn't make it work, then, you know, it's almost good night Vienna. He's got to get it done soon, otherwise it's going to be very hard for Boothby to stay with these boys. So hopefully...
Well, I don't know. Crucially, Nils has got back out ahead of Whitehead and McCormack, so he is still a little bit that cork in the bottle. There's a good 3-second buffer. But yeah, you're right. He needs to take the opportunity if he can. He can't be late enough on the brakes, though.
Ooh.
The thing is, there's just... He's smart enough not to just send it.
I thought Asini was going to send it from that angle then.
He'd look a little late on the brakes in the rearview mirror.
A little late on the brakes. Those brakes screamed. Never mind. No mind. Go Boothby. Hello to the commentators.
One of those, I've done everything I can do with this brake pedal. The rest is up to you, the car.
It is all on you now, I'm afraid. Was that Whitehead and BMW Nils going toe-to-toe in the background? I think it was. Oh my god, we're going to see something through a Rouge. Luke Whitehead, do not do it through a Rouge. I know he will, but he's not going to. He thinks better of it. Radian, then a Rouge, sorry. It doesn't make the move. I thought Luke Whitehead was going to hang it round the outside, but he didn't. He thought better of it. He's going to take a move, though. Did he lift then? I'm not sure he did, you know. Little feint.
Oh, I think that M6 is just munching him. He's going to have a look down the outside, though. Will he be given enough room for Nils? That was closing way too quickly. And I would say he wasn't afforded the room. He's still going to try and brave it round the outside, though. He's all on the cross.
Whitehead!
And he holds on to the back end of the car just about, but I don't know about you, Rage. I don't think he was given enough room there on 2 occasions.
Luke Whitehead always never fails to give us the action that we want to see. You know, if you're going up against Luke Whitehead and there is a gap there, he's never going to back out. You know he's going to be there. If you've shown him the door, he is always going to keep the bumper right up next to that door handle. He's going to do it. And Luke Whitehead did it through turn 7. He held it through turn 8. And I agree. I think BMW, as much as I love him, didn't give him enough room on the exit of turn 9. And that caused that little wiggle. Unfortunately, it means that he's being caught up there by Darren McCormack. But I think he will get back if he can. He's got the tyre now. He's got the tyre under him. So, yeah, Luke Whitehead should challenge a little bit later on for that position. But what happened up above?
Yeah,
Sorry.
I don't think... well, I think...
I don't think he got past.
Boothby's been passed by Hossolini. And is now holding on to the back of that. I mean, the first one, he definitely wasn't afforded the space. The second one was, I think, almost Luke Whitehead making a point, because he'd run all 4 wheels miles off the track. But he was like, I'm going to show that there's no space and try and re-enter the track anyway, rather than back out, and that's what caused the second part of the contact. But yeah, it's definitely something I think that needs to be looked at, that first one.
I'm sure it will be. One thing we haven't watched at all is what's happening in race control. We haven't seen any penalties come up. We will stay with what's going on here, because I think it probably is one of the best battles that we've got going on at the moment. So Jay, do stay there whilst I meander on over to race control and have a chat.
Which one are you on with?
Oh, sorry,
Whitehead
I'm with Luke Whitehead.
Yeah, okay. But,
nothing. We haven't got anything. No race control updates as far as I can see. It's all quiet.
Oh my God.
What's going on?
Sorry, I thought Luke Whitehead had lost it. Up Radion.
Oh, well, he might
The
lose
car was
position.
all over the place. And,
Dave's giving it a crack by the looks of things.
yeah, Dave looking for a move, looking ominous.
So no word from the stewards this afternoon. It's all quiet on the western front over there, unfortunately. Really no penalties. At the moment, no penalties. I think... Right, so take a little step. Hold up, wait a minute. I think it is because we had quite a lot going on in that lap 1 scenario. There might be a lot to look at. So we'll give them the benefit of the doubt on that one, and we might come back to it later. There was a lot that happened. Obviously, we saw that... I didn't know who started the incident at the beginning. We weren't sure if it was Boris who was involved. We obviously know Sven Hittich has obviously got a massive penalty going his way, so we can definitely say that engraved in stone, but I'm not too sure what happened in that middle kind of turns 13s, 12, 14 section, lap 1. We'll have to come back to that later as we watch Luke Whitehead try and hold on to P7 with Dave all over the back of him.
Yeah, Dara was thinking about looking around the outside.
You're making a thing to call him Dara now. That's it, we're never going back to Dave.
I'm going to try and edge it back in.
Slip back into old ways. You will, you'll come straight back.
Coming down on top of me. But yeah, if there's one person that's not going to give you room on the outside of the corner when you're not even alongside, it's Luke Whitehead. So
yeah. Well,
better of it. We'll see what kind of... It's going to be very difficult for with straight line speed of that Porsche. Up ahead, there's still that final podium battle brewing. Boothby is hanging on after being passed by Ossolini. So we'll see. Although Alexander seems to have some fairly good pace in comparison. Not looking too under pressure at the moment for a Honda 1-2-3, but we'll see. Also, shout out to the two Yas Heat boys that have come through. We obviously were on board with a few of them earlier on. Samir Foch now up to 13th. Hardier after his stop now P16 on the back of Walsingham and Camara. There we go.
Camera.
Too many ERs for me in a minute.
Yeah.
Camera.
You almost read my mind because that's what we're watching at the moment. We're watching Jardier trying to get onto the back of
I knew that.
Walsingham. Yeah. Cameras, the BMW, lovely looking liveried couple of cars these. I think cameras in the BMWs that did very well in season 9, I think. And then we've got Aidan Walsingham, a new addition to Tier 1, so welcome, part of the Visceral Esports team. He does look like he's going to get past into turn 7 though. Lovely move there from Jardier. Had it done before he even got to turn 7. Such as he didn't it? Turn my cars on quickly.
Yeah.
Got that done.
DRS.
Yeah, got that done very easy.
Back wing of that Ferrari.
What's going on a little bit further ahead? Hugo Merles and Grantis Caracas, Jura Petrochenko. That gap has opened up substantially between those boys. We were watching that little fight earlier on. Darren McCormack, Luke Whitehead, they are still together. We'll have to see what happens to those. I think that's just a battle of tyres. They're both quite fresh, so we'll see. They came out the pit together, roughly, so we'll see what happens with them. Amir Hassini, 6/10 back from Jack Alexander. Tinker van der Velde and Statsenko are pretty much staying there. I would love to see what happened with Luke Whitehead at the beginning. I'm sure there'll be a clip of it somewhere in the Discord. If we can get it at the end, I will promise I'll send it to you, because something happened, didn't it? Because obviously Luke was 3rd place.
He was, yeah, and then obviously dropped back to P6 or 7 fairly early on. So yeah, that was obviously a pretty crucial thing for his race. He's struggled a little bit to make progress since then, but he's got to defend from the Porsche McCormack first to see if he can make any more progress. We've got one car of traffic in the form of Kieran Prendergast after his exploits today.
What's happened to Kieran Prendergast? Whereabouts is he?
We had that. He's just ahead in P43, but he's just ahead of this battle on track, ahead of Nils. He obviously had that accident. Well, yeah, he had the accident at Donchemont that we saw, and then I think he got a drive through at some point after that as well.
Oh dear. He's down there, 43rd with Moonen. Unfortunately, not the best afternoon. Sorry, Prentice Senior. Son's not having a good one today.
What might be, it's a close battle. It might be nice to watch up. Radion Darren King on the back of Dimitrov. We're getting closer and closer. It's just a couple of attempts between them. McLaren versus McLaren. The 18th and 19th place.
It is a good battle.
If he can do anything about him. He's got the slipstream, and Dimitrov definitely doesn't have one. Getting closer and closer. Will move to the inside, presumably. Dimitrov not looking like it.
Jesus! It's a bunch off there, isn't it? They know each other well.
The McLarens.
Yeah, I think so.
I think they're trying to push. I think they might be trying to push up to the battles ahead.
As
you said earlier, the battle of the streamers, only 2.5 seconds ahead is Hardier.
What a fantastic little drive.
Maybe. Yeah. They're trying to help each other out here. I've not seen that in a long time in ACC.
What was I saying? Isaac Price is in a real tight battle here with some of the guys around him. Who's that ahead of him? I think it's Lucas Marquardt in the Ferrari, part of the Iron Lynx team. Lovely livery on that. But it is very close between Anarev, Price and Marquardt going toe to toe into the 3rd sector this afternoon, or 2nd sector I should say. Who's that behind? I think that might be Angel Inestrosa in the Honda. Not had a good day in the office today by the looks of things. Down in 26th place. But yeah.
No, and then just behind him Valentin Barry as well. So yeah, there's some big names a bit further back. Struggling at the moment.
Paul Wenham all further back as well. Yonkers down in 33rd.
Yeah, after those early incidents, he was right up there in the top 10 at one point. Felix Hacker back here as well. So, yeah, some big names battling it out for some not very big points today, unfortunately.
Well, it's points quite far down. Can't remember exactly how far down, but there's...
I said big points.
All right.
This is big talk, not small talk.
Soz. Very sorry.
Mitchell and Webb reference there for absolutely nobody.
We do like to focus on what's going on at the top, but, however, because the championship isn't at stake just yet, there is battles going on throughout the grid. So, sorry if we missed stuff that's going on towards the top. We are watching towards the back of the grid, which is good. It's got good racing. I mean, it involves Anafrev, so it's got to be reasonably good, and they're pretty close, these guys. Markford and Price all right up together. That's Inestrosa you can see behind. I think that was Barrier just coming through.
There's Vasily just behind these two.
Yeah.
Not Inestrosa, just pointing out.
Oh, was it?
Yes, Inestrosa's a couple of seconds back.
Oh, yeah.
So
Something must have happened. You're right,
no,
sorry.
They were always in that.
Well, they always like that? Sorry, it's Vasily Anarev.
okay.
Then it's Inestrosa, yeah. You might see a move
You're
here.
right. You were right about one thing. It's incredibly close battle between these three. As Price tries to make a move on the outside of Markvart. Again, we're not seeing much space being given between those two corners. As he'll try it again on the outside. Would he be afforded the space? It's Vasily that makes the opportunistic move, and maybe he'll take a look down the outside of Markvart now. Makes contact with Markvart. It's a long way around there, mate. I would just cut your losses and take the 1 place gained and shape him up somewhere else, almost pushing Markvart through No Name. And yeah, no. Chat, we're absolutely right. There's some cracking battles back here.
Yeah, no. Unfortunately, sometimes you do get carried away with what's going up ahead and you don't think what's going on behind. Yonkers and I can't see who that's. Arndt also very close towards the back. So we might have to see what's happening with Marco and Felix, but they are a couple of tenths next to each other, so that's a good little battle going on. But yeah, this is the one to watch at the moment. I'm just going to double check, if we could double check on what's like inside the top 10, just in case we're not missing out on a Luke versus Dara scenario again, because I think they are pretty close.
Wait, there's been some contact somewhere, because Price has gone back a number of positions, and it's now Inestrosa, Price and Trevor Wenham's just got past the pair of them. There's a lot of damage on the back of that BMW, so I think we might have cut away at just the wrong time, or I didn't see it on your stream.
No, I didn't.
The stream
see
might
it
have
either.
seen it, we might have missed it.
We just missed it. We're too busy looking on the timings. But you're right, Price has got a huge amount of damage on the back of that black
He's going to try around the outside of Wenham anyway, though. Makes contacts. And God, I thought he was going to cut over to the pit entry there. He's forced, who's that now?
It was a big spin, apparently. We all missed it.
Arthur Passett. He's going wheel to wheel with. He's trying to fight out these positions. Might be a little bit angry. Inestrosa's trying to go through the middle of them. Thinks better of it. Going to try and cut back underneath Price. Price trying to cut back underneath Patat. That's the kind of situations where you can normally see a big accident. 3 people trying to undercut each other. Price is going to now try to have a look.
He's driving a bit angry here.
Thinks better of it. It's very, isn't it? There's a big accident coming here so in a minute. I mean, he almost put in just right-hand lock when it was alongside him into the final corner, it looked like. But
it's good to see Trevor Wenham in an Aston Martin. Normally he always runs around in Ferraris. Obviously trying something different.
Porsche last year, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was a Porsche last year. Ferrari before then.
Got it. Right.
We're on board with Angel at the moment, trying to get onto the back of Price. But yeah, Price has got a big old dent in the back of the car. But yeah, apparently he had a bit of a spin.
Yeah, the thing we've got is obviously Rage is looking at chat and other stuff, and I'm looking at my screen and not necessarily what's actually on stream, so we may have just missed that. There is, I mean, stay where you are. I'm just going to see how it's developing, because there's an almighty train behind Luke Whitehead at the moment of McCormack. Petchenko's now caught that fight, and Hero Merlers is not too far away either. Petchenko looks like he might make a move on McCormack, thinks better of it. Yeah, these 4 cars all fighting over 7th, 8th, 9th and 10th, and definitely not done in that order at the moment.
Now we've hopped up slightly here. We are with Marek Shintz. You know him well. He's been with us for a couple of seasons now. He's trying to get past Dimitrov, who's been here even longer. Sherritt just behind. Nice little battle going on with these 3 drivers. But yeah, we'll keep an eye on what happens with Merlers and Petchenko Black Gold Source slowly plugging away in 12th place. He's only moved up, I think, since he started. Was he 19th? Now in 12th? Well, funny feeling he started around there. So he is going up the way.
Yeah, it was 18th and 19th. You're right.
But he is in a Ferrari, so we'll give him a, some slack. A little bit of slack for Black Gold Source. Trying to get himself into the top 10.
4th and 5th, but
What's that, sorry?
Ossolini and Boothby are in 4th and 5th in Ferraris, so...
Well, yes, but he's learning, bless him. Right, Marek Schintz.
Go on.
Trying for a move. Turn 7 seems to be the one this afternoon. Is he gifted space? Well, he makes space anyway. A little bit of a tap there, but gives the position back to Dimitrov. And, yeah, no harm done so far, but we will jump up to what's happening ahead because Petrochenko, Hugo Merlers, I think getting quite close now. Dara McCormack just ahead. He's actually fallen back a little bit from Luke Whitehead, hasn't he? And Hassini getting close to Jack Alexander. So we've got some movement coming up inside the top 10. So we're going to focus on what's going on here. Dara McCormack, Luke Whitehead getting incredibly close as they enter into the third sector.
Yeah, well, all four of these were nose to tail, and they've just Prendergast just unfortunately had to let all 4 of them pass. And I think that let them open out a little bit. They're continuing back up, but it's McCormack that was looking the most dangerous, as you say, on the back of Luke Whitehead. That Porsche really struggling in a straight line compared to that Honda, but he should be much better on the brakes if he can pick a side. He picks the outside. He's going to have a second undercut here. It is, but it's going to be difficult around the outside there. Whitehead knows that, gave him just enough room. Really great defensive driving and good respect between the pair of them. Now, Dara, what do you think about a move down the inside into turn 1? He does. Whitehead giving him room. Should get a better exit. There's contact. I thought they'd given each other enough room, but I think that was Luke Whitehead maybe moving a little bit over to the right. And Dara's now going to see the back of Petrochenko up the hill, unfortunately. How did you see that one, Mitch?
I don't know how to call that, to be honest. We'll watch it again, I think. We can do that now. We're watching it from Jura Petrochenko's point of view because it's right on there. Looks like Luke Whitehead stayed on his line. There was a tap. Luke Whitehead slowly moved over, but I don't see that Luke actually changed direction.
Sorry, can I interrupt you? Something massive has happened. George Boothby is now in 3rd place. Amir Hassalini and Jack Alexander are now in 4th and 5th, and Nils is right on the back of them. Thanks to the guy in chat that pointed out Nils was catching Boothby, but I think it's something else big has happened because Boothby's moved from 5th to 3rd and by quite a way.
Yeah.
So I'm going to presume Alexander and Hassalini have come together here.
Something must have happened.
Podium positions, yeah.
Alexander and Boothby are incredibly Alexander and Hassini are, they're right next to each other. BMW Nils is lurking. He's right there. But Dara McCormack is ever close as well. We will stay with what's going on, and there's so many things happening. It's what do we choose? I'm just going to stick with this because we have been sticking with it for the last couple of seconds.
You stick with that, I'll go up ahead, yeah.
Let me know if anything happens. So that something must have happened. Yeah, thank you very much, King Phoenix. Unfortunately, there is only 2 of us. We can only cover so much. But yeah, it looks like something happened between Alexander. Whether Alexander had a spin, whether it was involving Hassini, I'm not sure. But Boothby,
well, it has to be both of them because Boothby's passed the pair of them by quite a way.
And it happened inside that kind of first sector somewhere. So maybe going into turn 7. Not too sure. We'll have to see. As to-in and fro-in between Petrochenko and Luke Whitehead. And we haven't seen these guys go toe-to-toe really much before. Petrochenko and Whitehead going at it here. Dara McCormack's now right back into the fire. Literally straight out of that furnace. Bang! Straight into the fire. As he wants to come in and really attack onto the back of Jura Petrochenko. And Luke Whitehead is giving space here. You know, Luke Whitehead is always spicy. He's one of those drivers that you always have to approach with caution. But, you know he's going to be fair, but he's never going to take his foot off the spicy pedal. So you've always got to be aware of that, you know. Luke Whitehead will fight you. Oh, Dara McCormack loses it. Going up, Eau Rouge and Radion, but manages to hold on to the car. Loses the place to Hugo Merlers and Grantis Caracas. Black Gold Source too far behind, but there we go. I think that is all she wrote for Dave. Jura Petrochenko and Luke Whitehead are going to be the next one up.
Dave lives to fight another day. That's what I saw Luke Whitehead do a few laps ago up there. It's obviously pretty tricky still. And yeah, just about held on to it. He's going to have to do it the hard way now, but with the fighting that's going on ahead, it's definitely not game over for him just yet. Hassini is all over the back of Alexander, but as of yet, they haven't been side by side. So you can probably stay where you are. But from the way they're both driving, it does suggest something happened between them.
Yeah, it could
Because
possibly.
Hassini is definitely buzzing around that rear wing in a passive-aggressive manner, I would say.
Chat is saying bus stop, replay bus stop. I can't. I mean, once it goes past a certain period of time, I can't pick a random period of time. I can't go out to show you the replay, unfortunately, because we're on a live stream here. It's like a show, right? I can't just come into the replay and go to the bus stop on any given. We can do it after the race, but I can't do it now, unfortunately. If we catch it within 30 seconds, I can show it to you. But unfortunately, we didn't catch what happened with Alexander. But hey-ho, we can always find out. Hassini and BMW Niels are very close. But what is really...
maybe go back up to Hassini, because he's... Unless it's very close behind.
I mean, it always is, unfortunately.
He's shaping up a move on Alexander into the final corner. He's super late. Alexander moves over to cover him.
He should get it back.
Went for it anyway. We got the car stopped. That was super aware from Alexander to see that Hassini had outbroken himself, and now it's Niels that's going to have a go down the outside, maybe into turn one. I think just backs off the throttle a little bit there. But yeah, I mean, there's definitely history between those two. I think we missed a big crash between them, because that was super aggressive from Hassini, and Alexander luckily saw it coming.
Yeah. We are showing you 4, 5 and 6 now, guys. We will go back to 7, 8 and 9 in a minute, because there's spicy stuff going on all over the shop. A double takeout.
There is, I know you don't want more battles to add to it. The two Yassé Heat boys know each other very well. Hardier and Samir are incredibly close as well.
They are incredibly close. Nothing happened there with those guys going through turn 7. But what is going on with Luke Whitehead up the inside of Jura Petrchenko, or the other way around? Luke Whitehead to the outside, manages to hang it round. He's on the rumble streak, needs to rejoin. He does. Manages to hold on to that position. I don't think he's overtaken there. Petrchenko, there's touching. Contact. Merlis wants to sneak through.
Now Merlis tries to go through.
Oh, Hugo.
Got some bumper cars. Caracas is just watching wistfully at the back. Luke Whitehead tries to hold it down the inside of No Name, puts Caracas almost into the wall. Who's this getting involved? It's Dave is back on the scene.
Dave is back.
At the back of it. He's now going to try and make a move down the inside of Caracas. And Luke Whitehead's robust defending maybe got himself into a little bit of trouble there.
Yeah, there's
He's holding on as Dave. Oh, more contact. Caracas is trying to hold that down the inside.
This is like touring cars, Jay.
This is brilliant.
Did we turn on to the BTTC? What's going on? BTCC, however many acronyms you got. There's a lot of rubbing going on right now, and I don't think it's all good cricket, Jay.
I don't know, it's all a form of cricket. It might be 2020, but it's a bit aggressive. To be fair, Dara and Caracas at the back there, that was super respectful. They gave each other just enough room through about 3 or 4 corners. But yeah, this definitely isn't done with 3.5 minutes, so at least 2 laps to go for these boys, probably 3.
I hopped back up to Amir, Niels and Jack just to see what happened, because Amir is mighty on the brakes into the bus stop. He just absolutely munches all around him. Just generally on the brakes, Amir Hassini is fantastic. Oh God, you say, I'm going to go back down. I can't see anything happening.
It's Hardier and Samir that were side by side into the final corner, teammates. I think they've just about sorted it out, but Arthur is all over the back of them as well. I don't know where to look either. I just want to point out, going onto the back of that favourite foursome that we've been watching, Black Goldsaw has been inching closer and closer as well. So if we have another end to the Kevin Straight that we had last time around, he could be right on them.
Well, we're on board with Luke Whitehead as he goes. He's got the inside here on Dura. He managed to wangle that. He's going to have to be really late on the brakes, and he's not as late as Dura. He's going to have to give him some space. He doesn't. Jay, again, the robust defence here of Luke Whitehead, I think, is undoing him. He needs to leave the space as he does tap Dura again. Oh, that is not good.
Pitchman goes into a barrier, and that's his top 10 challenge over. Well, we need to just stay on board with it, and then we can maybe have a chat about it. But It's Dara and now Caracas. I presume you're on board with them. Dara just about picks his way back through. He was shuffled to the back of this pack not 2 or 3 laps ago, and he's already back up to, that'll be 9th place now.
We're watching it again, Jay, just to interrupt. So yeah, the tap on the exit, and then the confirmation of the tap going through turn 9 for Luke Whitehead. But Luke was actually locked up going into turn 9, so not too sure what you could have done. But yeah, like you said earlier, robust defence here could be the undoing for the Ripper today.
Maybe just keep telling me where you're on board, because I don't know where to look right now. I've seen he's all over the back of Alexander, and he's got Nils on the back of him going into the final chicane. And then we've obviously got Caracas, McCormack, and Luke Whitehead.
This
still
is the
defending.
final lap for the leader, okay? Just thought I'd say. Final lap for the leader. So Statsenko is on the final lap. These boys might have to, well, finish this one and go on one more.
Where are you on board with,
we're on board. I'm watching it now. Don't you worry. There's a skip of the final corner from Alexander. He might get a penalty for that, or at least a warning, but that could leave him the space he needs to secure 4th place. However, Cheatsy Doodles ahoy, I'm not too sure if he's going to get penalised for that. We saw it. There is stuff going on in the background.
Contact. Nils has made contact with Hassini into turn 1. Got it all wrong. I presume he's going to wait for him.
He does.
But, yeah, he just misjudged it a little bit into turn 1. Yeah, Alexander should have given that place back. He went miles off the track and definitely would have lost the place, or at least been alongside if he hadn't done that.
Yeah.
Makes it a bit more difficult now that he's got a buffer, because if he can get something like 5 seconds, which might be what kind of penalty he might get, might help him out. But I would say that's probably
We've got an incident. Sorry. We've got an incident. Dave is off. He'd come off through Eau Rouge and Radion. He's got a huge amount of damage on that car. It is skirting to the left and to the right, and he's gone down outside the top 10 now. Darren McCormack's thrown it away on the last lap. He's behind Samir Foch, Jardier, and all of those alike. Unfortunately, that battle, by the way, is actually heating up pretty special. It's Jardier, Camera, and Walsingham all toe-to-toe. But I'm going to have to concentrate on Statsenko at some point. Where is he? He's coming through, I think, Campus Stavelo kind of area, so we'll come back. But yeah, big talking points at the end of this, man. You know, Whitehead, very tough defence. There's been touches going on everywhere. Alexander, was that cutting of the corner good cricket? I don't think so. You know, if that was any other racing series, you'd really call foul play on that. So I'm not too sure, but he might say, well, I was forced out wide, what could I have done? Who knows?
Yeah, the only thing, my eye was drawn to him after the fact, so I don't know actually when they went into the corner whether he was forced off. But yeah, all I saw was him cutting off in the distance. So
here comes Statsenko
he looked at. Yep,
for his opening win with AOR and the opening win of the season. Tinker van der Velde, fantastic drive from him to take second. George Boothby then just put himself in a fantastic position from the pit stop and manages to get himself 3rd place. Brilliant drive from George Boothby. And then we've got Jack Alexander coming across the line in 4th. Amir Hassini is going to come across the line in 5th, maybe, with Nils right behind him. Hugo Merlers then and the likes coming through in 7th place. Luke Whitehead manages to hold on to that. We've got Grantis Caracas across the line in 9th, rounding up the top 10. He's a wizard. He's the fan favourite. Black Goldstore managed to get inside the top 10 after that. Samir Foch comes across the line for the Yas Heat boys. Jade just behind. Arthur Kramer behind him. Aidan Walsingham behind him. And Tobias. Darren King, the last of the YouTubers, unfortunately coming across the line in 16th. Vanko. Jura Petrochenko, that's where he finishes. 20th place. Something must have happened to Jura Petrochenko. Oh, of course, he hit the barrier after the touch. With Luke Whitehead, and we do have penalties now coming through. Barrier's got himself one, Appleman's got himself one, Angel and also Arndt also giving themselves penalties. Geez, Apex Online Racing, what is the next race like next week? Well, it's the same time, same place at 7:30 on a Monday afternoon. We're in Watkins Glen. However, Tier 2 will be your race tomorrow at 7:30, so do stay tuned for that if you do want to watch. I just saw that chat were asking. Well, there's some question marks about some of the racing this afternoon, none of which we will be able to talk to because we only talked to the top 3. But Jay, just before we get into it, we do have the penalties that came through. 20-second penalty for Max. I think it was, I can't see what number he is, for causing a collision when rejoining the track on lap 1. Loads of cars. Boris also causing a collision. We thought it was him. Jesse Kalpanen causing a collision. Lots of second time penalties, but no penalty points by the looks of things. Anything to do with Whitehead? Let's have a look.
I think they'll probably take a while to get to those. I think
I was
we've seen
trying to see from the beginning
early on,
but
got you.
I can't see anything anyway. I wanted to see if there's anything going on there. Angel Instroza got done for not holding brakes. That's cardinal sin there, unfortunately. Never mind, we're all good. It's a fantastic race nonetheless, Jay.
Yeah, I think that unfortunately, and it's just the way that it is because of how many cars there were and how many incidents they've probably got to work through. I think most of that top 10 will be slightly reordered, apart from the top 3, which I think are pretty nailed in because I didn't see them caught up in anything. Just the way it is to get through it all. I wanted to have a conversation about it the entire race, but there was so much action I couldn't. Lecom. It's such a difficult series of corners at the end of the Kemmel Straight that it's so difficult to leave room because you're on the edge and there's almost only one line through there, and you compromise yourself so much going off it. Yet we saw so many people try it today, and that was the cause of most of the chaos. You talked about robust defending from Luke Whitehead, maybe too robust. I think it was for a lot of people through there. But it's one of those things that Spa funnels you into because the Kemmel Straight gets you involved. But if you haven't got the move done, you try to hang it out around Lecom. But yeah, we just saw chaos through there of people. It's so easy to say he's not giving enough space, but those cars are on the edge through there.
No, you're right. You're right.
Trying to hold on, and
The Ripper was in chat a second ago. He's retracted his statement, and I think I didn't see what it was, but that's what it brings out. You know, you get heated in the moment, and that is unfortunately the brilliance and also the curse of sim racing, right? It involves everyone so intently. And things go wrong and things go right sometimes. I mean, it's always going to happen through 7, 8 and 9. It just will. It's Spa. Anyway, before we leave him there for too long, we've got a man we've never spoken to him before here in AOR. It's Mikhail Statsenko. So we'll jump him straight into the comms box for a little chat. Mikhail Statsenko, well done. Brilliant first race, and you managed to get yourself maximum points this afternoon. We haven't spoken before, so welcome to AOR, or at least welcome to Tier 1, and congrats. Amazing race. You led and finished all the way at the front.
Yeah, thank you. Very happy.
I mean, it was a fantastic race, behind you, I must say. Obviously, you won, so it's fantastic for you too. Was it easy at some points, or was the pressure really there from the get-go?
Not to underestimate any competitors. Like, this is my best track, and from it was kind of easy. But next round it will be way worse for me and way harder. So this round.
Is that just because of the Honda? One thing me and Rage are picking up on is obviously it's a new BOP and it's something we're not completely familiar with. I mean,
Honda is like 1 or 2. I mean, 2 to 3 tenths faster than Ferrari probably. So it is something.
But you say obviously Watkins Glen you don't expect to be quite as quick as that because of the car, or just something the track itself.
Isn't it? New track.
It's a new track. I haven't done any running on that track. And then Honda is quick, but not as quick as Porsche, I think. I don't know what Ferrari is, so it's not the best car by miles at here.
I mean, you've got some good Honda-ish tracks coming up, right? You Paul Ricard with a massive straight. You've got Monza as well with straights. Indianapolis. I mean, I haven't even looked at what the layout is. It the endurance layout, Jay, for Indianapolis around there? I've got no idea. I haven't raced it. I mean, there's going to be
just the road course.
The road course, yeah. I mean, it's huge straights, right? Is there? Indeed,
no.
There's one big track. It doesn't open up onto the banking as early as the old F1 track did.
Oh, okay. I thought it was banking galore, but maybe not. All right. Well, I mean, fantastic way to open up the score sheet for season 11. Like you say, I think everyone's going to be in the same boat for Watkins Glen, Mikhail. I think everyone's going to be struggling there, and I'm glad they got it in straight away. Indianapolis is also going to be hard. But, mate, fantastic to have you here to have a chat with us. Long may it continue, and I hope you get off for a really good run at season 11. Welcome, buddy, and best of luck for the next couple of races. Let's see if you can stay at the top end. No problem at all. It was a masterclass, mate. You schooled everyone from the get-go. Oh, before
Thank
you go though,
Brilliant job.
did you see what happened with Luke Whitehead at the beginning of the race?
No.
Okay, we wondered because we didn't either. We
Too
missed
far
it.
in that rear mirror, mate.
Yeah, it was too far behind you. No, because we noticed he dropped back to about 7th in the first couple of
Yeah.
sectors, so we didn't know what happened.
There was an incident with George, I think.
Okay.
As far as I know.
Okay. Well, talk of the devil. We're going to drag them up. Thank you very much, Mikhail, and welcome,
Thank
like
you.
I say, to the comms box. Hopefully, we see you here again soon.
Yeah. Goodbye.
See you
Great
soon.
job.
Let's hop up Tinker van der Velde, see if we can have a little chat. Tinker, welcome back to the top steps of AOR. I mean, it's been a long time, but you're back here and fighting as ever.
Hello. Yep, I'm back.
I mean, fantastic result.
Yeah, I didn't expect my pace today to be so good. I only started practicing a few hours before the race.
Oh, really?
So I was,
Just
yeah.
slide that in. Didn't even
I was
put any
just,
focus in.
I didn't know my pace was gonna be so good, to be honest. I don't know. I was just hyper focused for some reason, and made barely any mistakes, so I could keep up, and I'm happy with that.
I mean, you were right there with obviously with Mikhail, and he just slowly eked away a little bit. Was there any chance you think, look, I could catch this guy, or was it just his day to day?
At the start, I wasn't on the pace really, so I just went away. But at the second stint, I noticed I could, the gap was just staying the same the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end, I was catching slightly, so maybe if the race was 30 minutes longer, I would have catched it.
I mean, if you just did that extra 30 minutes of practice, it could have been a completely different story. I mean, look, huge points. Puts you in a massively good position going into, the beginning of the season. We've got plenty of races coming up and good opportunities, right? We've got Watkins Glen, Indianapolis, you haven't done those before, and obviously got the old-fashioned Paul Regards, Older Monza, Kyalami. Plenty of things to go right and wrong. So, yeah, really good to see you up there, man. And it was Honda, right? Honda, how is the Honda?
Yep. OP.
Yeah.
It's really strong on Spa.
Good.
And
Are you
people
expecting
think-
that to carry on, or is that a Spa-specific thing, do we think?
Yeah, it's gonna carry on. It's the best car in the game
Interesting,
by
okay.
far. So I'm not sure why no one really picked Honda, or only 5-6 people at the front picked it. People think maybe it's bad on tire wear, but we saw today it was really good on tire wear as well. We gained on Booth by a lot, even on the old tires. So, and Ferrari is one of the best cars on tires. So the car is just good in every way. In quali is also on this track 4/10 quicker than anything else, 3/10 maybe. I don't know. It's really good.
That's what I like to hear
Ominous.
from Honda. Yeah. The power of dreams, literally. Good. Brilliant. Well, Tinko, fantastic result. Hopefully we'll see you fighting for a championship this season again. So yeah, well done. Second place. Good stuff. Good
Thank you.
points. No problem. Thanks for joining us. And we'll get George up for a little chat because he managed to strategically put himself into third place. See if he can.
I'm not sure that was strategy. I'm interested to see what happened, but I don't think it was strategic.
I'm going to go on. It was all strategy. George, how did it go out there? It seems to you managed to surprise yourself into third place. Fantastic strat on the pit. I was all team George on that one, but there was a little bit of an incident ahead of you, and you managed to get yourself into third place.
Yeah, that was an absolute slobber knocker of a race.
That is an adjective I'm going to use from now on.
That's going in the book of quotes.
It was, there was a lot of action up and down the field, it looked like, as well. But from
it's
my
crazy.
point of view, I did bottle quali. I'm usually pretty good at quali, so a little bit frustrated with that. But, it happens.
We'll let you off.
Means you got a bit more work in the race, right? So got a good first lap. I got pushed wide by Luke midway through the lap, which lost me a position. And then I sent it on him in the bus stop, and it was pretty risky.
Was this
I
lap
wouldn't say
one?
I wouldn't say it's penalty worthy, but they didn't give me a penalty, but it was quite a risky send. But then
dear.
Luke rejoined over the curb and just went mid-air into the side of my car.
Oh,
so,
no. Okay.
So I had that race with a little bit of damage, and obviously that put me back a bit. And I spent the whole first stint then just stuck behind that massive M6 because that thing is so fast in a straight line. There's nothing I could do. So, like for 20 minutes, like I just couldn't do anything.
That was
I
Niels,
running,
was
like,
it? I think just
yeah,
holding the
but he was-
fort.
Oh yeah, he was doing great with that car, like really good driving. But there was just, like I say, there's nothing you can do when a car's so quick in a straight line. So I pitted really early, went for the undercut, threw in some quick laps, and managed to get far enough ahead. And I knew my pace alone would be able to keep me there. Amir and Alexander, they pitted a lot later. So although when they came out, I was in them, amongst them. They had like 5-6 laps fresher tires, so there's just like the pace advantage was just ridiculous. So I just wanted to stay with him because you never know, right? I just wanted to look at my tires, stay with him, and then something happened. So took advantage of it, and because I looked at my tires, I was able to just keep the gap at the end. So they couldn't actually catch me back up because I guess they were fighting and scrubbing the tires.
There was a
like
lot
that, so.
of fighting going on.
Yeah.
We're obviously consummate professionals, but there was a lot going on, and we may have missed it. Could you run us through what happened with Hossini and Alexander?
I don't really know what happened with them exactly. It was in the bus stop where they like crashed into each other, and then I saw on I think the second to last lap, one of the cars cut the whole of the chicane, which is quite funny.
That was Alexander, wasn't it? I think.
Yeah.
Just thought, nope, and just went round. Didn't give the place back and finished fourth. I think that might be... I know that Heiko's said that a lot of the results are going to be investigated. The outcome of some incidents are still being investigated. So, hey, it doesn't involve you anyway, at least. I mean, obviously, if Luke thought he was... it was live anyway, so he can't. Suck it up, Luke. Anyway, he had some defending, let's just say. So yeah, I mean, throughout the race, it was fun to watch, and your little storm through that pit stop phase kept this race alive. And we were focusing on you as the yardstick to see where you came out. And we were very surprised to see you jump those boys. When you came out, just absolutely yeeted past everyone. I think it was Dara, or Dave, as Jamie likes to call him, were fighting with Luke.
Right.
You just absolutely left them for dead. We thought at one point you were going to jump everyone apart from, from Mikhail. But yeah, I mean, at least you held on, and it just goes to show, never go, well, I'm not going to catch him up. I'm just going to, give up this race because, incidents happen, and obviously you were the beneficiary of that. Good point. How do you go around Watkins Glen? Have you given these new DLC tracks a good old go yet, or is it still...
I've given them a good go, and the Ferrari is good there. The problem we're going to have is, throughout this whole championship really, is the Honda's it's a very Honda calendar, so it's going to be quite difficult at some of the tracks, like compared to the Ferrari. So Monza and Zolder especially are going to be really difficult. So my plan is to just try and stay as close to them as I can at the start of the season. Indianapolis, we should hopefully get a really good result there because the Ferrari's probably the best car there. But it's just a matter of just making the most of it, right? Here was, I don't know if there was any way we could shake Statsenko or Tinko. Like, they were just so fast, and I think this is the best I could have done, really, even if I had like the perfect race. So I just gotta just keep making the most of what I can do. Who knows?
Yeah.
It's a championship, right? So crashes, all sorts of stuff. Be consistent, and maybe I can do a no-win championship again. I don't know.
I mean, your pit stop strategy, I think, was instrumental in where you finished. I don't think you would have finished where you finished unless you did what you did. So yeah. It's not all luck. That was a very good decision. Did something different, and it paid off. Well, congrats, good points. Like you say, there's going to be to and fro of cars. However, I think some are coming up. That might not necessarily be Honda tracks, and you could be up there, Watkins Glen, at least Kyle Army, maybe, I don't know. Indianapolis, we don't know. Paul Ricard's got a big straight.
So unfortunately, the Honda and the Porsche comfortably the best car at Watkins, so that's going to be a bit tricky. But
that's the problem, Ray. These boys do know. They know this game inside out. They know exactly how it's going to be.
I have absolutely no idea at Paul Ricard, so that's going to be interesting.
Oh, there we go. Okay.
But Indy, we should, the Ferrari should have an advantage. So
good.
There are tracks where hopefully I can just, head down and get points, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, you started off well. That's the main thing. You got a good old score on the board. Well, thanks for joining in, and congrats on the podium. And we'll see you in a week's time.
Oh, thank you so much,
Hopefully
guys.
in the box
Bye-bye.
again. You never know.
Yeah, hopefully.
See you soon, buddy.
Bye.
Well, I left the box. Sorry, I didn't mean to. Well, there we go. That's round 1 over, and it didn't disappoint. I'm not going to lie. It was absolutely incredible. There was so many battles throughout. I don't even know where to start. I mean, yeah, it was fantastic. I'd love to see what happens, and those penalties that we're talking about that might come out towards the end of this evening, maybe going into tomorrow, we'll make sure that we let everyone know before the next round or when you join us for the next round. And yeah, you can join us for the next round in a week's time. We'll be at the same time, same place. Join us back in the AOR Online Racing, whatever it's called, YouTube channel at 7:30. Stream goes live at 7. We got some build up, and then we go racing again around Watkins Glen. And tomorrow we've got the Tier 2 round Spa. I'm not too sure who's driving in the Tier 2 stuff. I'm sure it's the regulars. I think Dominic Goltz has gone down to Tier 2, so watch out. We'll see what happens with him. We got Fang also. He's very quick. Makowski, he's very quick too. I'm pretty sure we've got Remy Papin here too as well. Romanenko also very fast. So yeah, it's going to be fun. Vince van Vervelde is in Tier 2 as well. Yeah, Remy Papin, there we go. So you're going to have a very fun time if you join us tomorrow at 7:30 as well. Not too sure who's doing the streaming side of things, but I'm sure you'll be in safe hands. Jamie, anything to end on?
No, just it's great to be back. What a start that was. We didn't really know where to look at any point, and
no clue.
We did our best that we could.
It was a blur.
It's gonna be interesting, to see. It really strikes me as to the comments that are being made about the Honda and its domination. It always amazes me when that kind of a big bop change has been made and one car comes out on top in a dominant way. But I would argue that some of the quickest boys are not in a Honda, or some really, really quick guys. So it'd be interesting to see whether they can fight that and overturn it and take advantage of the tracks where they're stronger.
I love it
when they off you.
When you get some of the fastest guys out here that just refuse to go in that fastest car, and you get some fantastic racing because of it. It makes it AOR, right? You get the guys going round in Aston Martins and for not necessarily Ferraris. We've got a couple of McLarens, no Bentleys, no Boatleys. So yeah, obviously not doing too well, the old Boatley this season. But yeah, I think it spices it up. I mean, it's going to continue to get spicy, even if it is a very Honda track list that we've been told, Jay. It's all coming out the woodwork. Well, we'll end it there, guys. Thanks very much for everyone joining us. We had a huge turnout today, so thanks very much for stopping by. We'll let you enjoy the rest of your evening and join us again tomorrow for Tier 2 and next week for round 2 of our 7-round season. We'll see you soon.
In a bit.